Laura, guys, has published an incredible book called Pasión de Vida. Your book is a very unusual publication. It's a cookbook, but it's also a manual of virtues and values. Can you explain how that came together?
Oh my God, yeah. It all started like nothing. I had my two little girls. This was about probably 15, 20 years ago. And I started writing things. When you're a mom, you start writing things. Oh my God, how am I going to tell my daughters this? How am I going to teach this? Or they got mad at me because of that, or I'm mad at them, or this is the way my parents taught me this, but maybe I can like tweak it a little bit and teach them the same thing in a different way. And so that I started writing in pieces of papers here and there, like we say, cartuchos here or bags here and there, until I started putting it in a manual. I mean, in a journal. And then years later, I'm like, this can be a book. And wait a second. And then I started getting all these recipes from my mother-in-law, from my grandmother, from my mom, my dad. And then we started thinking of how to eat healthy. Because in a Latin culture, you know that we tend to put a lot of oil on a lot of seasoning and a lot of stuff like that. Like we can have the same good recipes in a healthier way. By the way, the English version came out already. I just talked to my editor this
Oh, okay.
morning, and I think she uploaded it
Ah,
already. so I'm gonna,
yay!
so I'm gonna
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to check later. This is the Spanish version, but the English version is a little bit different. And yes, it has pictures and it has a lot of things that I wanted to include in there, including my grandmother and my mother-in-law, a picture of her teaching me the caldo de pollo, the chicken soup, and so many other recipes that I have. But that's the reason why I joined all that together. And at first I thought maybe this is too much. Maybe it's recipes and values and all mixed up. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just going to leave it like that because it comes from years ago, and people can learn from recipes at the same time as values and virtues. And as a coach in the English version, I think we titled it Coaching Virtues and Values for the Family.
It came together organically. It's not
Yeah.
something that you
Oof.
had to force.
No.
And I've done a lot of research into self-help for
Self
health.
self help for health.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what you put in your body has so much an effect on your mental health, your mental state, and how you combine that with virtues, because you can't live a virtuous life unless you have good mental health. And good mental health, believe it or not, starts in the gut. I discovered this just
Yeah,
reading things online. It's
absolutely.
so crazy how everything in your body is connected. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to have, a lot of migraine headaches years ago. I must have said that to you.
no, I didn't
Many,
know that. I didn't
many
know
years
that.
ago when I started working with the Miami Herald, with the newspapers as a journalist at BBC. I finished the story, so the news story. So I finished writing the piece that I needed to give my editor with a huge headache, and then go home and then deal with the babies, and then until my friend said, Laura, take a yoga class. And there you will learn to exercise. I'm like, no, 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 yoga for me. Ooh, no. That's how I started with the yoga thing. And then again, like 2 weeks later, again, oh my God, Lourdes, I really have this headache. It's killing me. Laura, let's come to this yoga class where you're going to learn, to moderate, I guess, physically and mentally and emotionally, and how to eat and everything for your headaches. Trust me. I'm like, okay, fine, let's go. And I loved it because I realized that yoga, as any type of exercise, is really good for your body, your mind, and your spirit. And yeah. So that's how everything started. And then through time, I used, yes, my mother-in-law's recipes and my mom's recipes, my dad's, my grandmother's, my friends even. And then but by taking out things, taking out oil, taking out, oh, this seasoning does not go with me. I can feel it in my body. And I started learning more about my body, and listening more to what my body was telling me. This is what you
Right.
should eat. This is what you should not eat. I had huge cramps when I had my period. I had huge, I mean, it's migraine headaches, and at the same time, I had both at the same time. And I'm like, no, this I must be doing something wrong. I must be doing something wrong. Let me and then I realized that it was the food. It was the food, along with other things, of course, the stress
Right.
levels and all that, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the main things. And as I learned that the recipes part of it, I realized like I'm doing something that is not so good to do, in terms of coming back to virtues and values. And I thought in my culture, whatever, we thought it was funny or we thought it was okay. But no, it's not really funny or it's not really okay. How can we modify this? How can we make it better? How can we still have it as part of the culture, but at the same time not make it so tough as sometimes our culture can be.
Right.
And so I learned the same thing to teach that to my daughters. Or when it was done to me, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, but you do that too. Oh, wait a second. So that's how you learn in life, by teaching yourself and learning from others.